So I guess the point there is that I feel like I have a very nice and safe and powerful base to be able to continue to stay engaged with the network, but it constrains. And here's my own kind of fears about leadership speaking, right? I mean, here is this moment in time in which, you know, we should all be stepping up to the plate, and I'm saying, well, I can't, I'm too busy. So it's the kind of dynamic that we all face on our campuses, and how do we make those two things work together? I want to outline briefly the vision that we have to date, and then I'm going to ask Penelope and Pushpa to just sort of, please just give me a couple minutes of reflection on what I've said, and ask Xarissa Holdaway from the National Wildlife Federation to give us maybe a 5-minute presentation or 10 minutes about sort of the lay of the land in terms of the national organizing landscape. Because the other piece here is that there's so much else going on now that, and I think Lori mentioned this the other day, it's like, you know, I get 17 different emails from climate groups telling me that, you know, it's going to be October 25th or April 20th or February 4th, and, you know, how do I know which one do I want to engage in? So, you know, how do we work into that context? So, briefly, here's the plan that we're envisioning. Beginning early in the fall, September, the Bard Center for Environmental Policy will be sponsoring a national climate dialogue. Or a national climate seminar. And the seminar vision is that every 2 weeks we'll be doing the kind of national organizing calls that we did, only there'll be a seminar. So we'll invite the top climate scientists, economists, policy analysts to get on the phone and really just give a 15-minute talk about where they think we're at, right? Sort of what the important issues are, what the policy issues, what the science issues are. The BARD students will develop questions, so they'll be, and we'll take email questions. We'll have a website with, you know, so we'll post people's articles and stuff ahead of time. You can send in questions. So we'll be trying to create an intellectually exciting place for people to engage once every 2 weeks around climate. And you can get your class to call in. You can call in as an individual. But really a sort of a ongoing national conversation about how important and interesting and engaging and exciting this moment is. We'll tag on to that, you know, the last 5 minutes will be some discussion about action. And the action item that we're envisioning, obviously in conjunction with everybody else, is to pursue, in particular, the video dialogue component of the teach-in that was successful last year. So over the last couple of years, as many of you are aware, we've sort of been pioneering this kind of connection between campus and Congress using Skype or Sitespeed or iChat type technology. And this year, thanks to Grady O'Shaughnessy's help, we were actually in the Capitol building in Pelosi's office on the day of the teach-in. We had a room full of computers, and we brought in about 15 or 16 members of Congress, sat down at those tables, and had conversations with classrooms and auditoriums back in their districts. I mean, our sense is that this is the one most powerful thing that we can do, is to get those direct links between campus and Congress and get that FaceTime so that, you know, members of Congress, it can help them focus and create that sense of, break through that sort of partisan frame and really just say, no, this is about our future. For us, it's not about left and right. It's not about Republican and Democrat. It's about the kind of world that we as young people are going to be living in. So that's kind of the strategic goal of these things. We figured out how to do this breaking through the firewalls in Congress. So we had a technological breakthrough this year that we think is going to allow us to radically expand the numbers. We actually had 150 schools request the opportunity to talk with their congresspeople, but we were only able to accommodate 25. So what we'd like to do this year is up that number to 250, but it would be spread out across a couple months. So in March and April, schedule 250 of these Campus to Congress video dialogues that would happen, in this case, between a member of Congress sitting at their desk with a laptop and in their own office and a campus audience. So that's one component. it's limited. It's really only 250 schools. So we've thought about, and this is an idea that I'd really need some feedback on, is how can we get all the other schools involved? How can we get the high schools and the elementary schools and everybody who wants to do something, give them a menu or something to do? And the something to do we've been thinking about is a video letter to Congress, so that every school would and we'd probably create a template for this, because otherwise they get rambly and long, but it would be like, 2 to 3 minutes of student-produced video about what students are thinking on their campus about this issue. What kind of work they're doing, what's important to them, and then, ending with a, dear congressperson, we need you to do this, to do something for us, X, Y, Z. We would hopefully get thousands of these. We'd put them up on a website, a dedicated YouTube site, or maybe not YouTube. And I'm not really sure what we would do with them. But it does provide, I was thinking this morning, one possibility would be, produce the video and then set up a phone call with the environmental liaison to your member of Congress. That would sort of be what you would ask the school group to do. Say, here we're sending you a video, we'd like to watch the video, and then we'd like to have a 10-minute or 15-minute conference call with you about the video and about what's going on our campus, so that there'd be some sort of logical follow-up to the video and just wouldn't sit on the website. It would actually wind up getting communicated directly. So, so those are the two pieces that we hope to be able to coordinate, that we think we could pull off. It may be not big enough. Maybe people are ready for more, and so we want to talk about that. How could we do more, and how could we coordinate more, and that's it, and I think, like I always say this, it's hard to believe, it's a pretty day out there, although it's too hot. And yet somehow we have to realize that the next 180 days or 200 days are of vast historical significance, in the sense that if we don't achieve real climate legislation in the United States in the next couple of years, we know that sort of a last opportunity has slipped by. Now, if we do it, of course, we haven't won by any means, but we haven't won the war, but we've won an important battle. So, we were talking yesterday about sort of what the obstacles to leadership are, and I think part of it is the ability to just kind of put it out of our minds, the work that has to be done. So this is a good opportunity for me to not do that, and to focus on what's important. So I think what I'd like to do is first invite Xarissa up to talk about National Wildlife Federation's work, and also give us a sense of, what you see as sort of the landscape of all the stuff that faculty are being asked to do, and how that all fits together.